All right, we can't talk Thursday Night Football without my guy, of course, taking place in L.A. Ryan Harris, the champ here to give us a skinny of what we might see tonight. And let's start there with Josh Jacobs, listed as questionable, likely to play. But Jay Twice, when you think about it, he's been a big chunk of that offense the past few weeks. Thoughts on what he might look like if he's not 100%? We know players not 100% at this point in the season, but you want him to be at the top of your game.
Well, he wasn't 100% last week when he went for over 100 yards rushing as well. Over 400 yards of offense the last two games from Josh Jacobs, and the primary beneficiary has been Davante Adams. Josh Jacobs can run it. He can catch it. He's been running with a head of steam, running over people, through people, over a mountain and through the bush. To grandmother's house we go. They are riding him to the playoffs. It has been impressive. And he might be questionable just because it's a question of whether he wants to keep kicking tail in the NFL this year. This team is right on the brink of going to the playoffs or packing and planning an all-inclusive vacation. I suggest Puerto Vallarta. But the Las Vegas Raiders have themselves their stallion in Josh Jacobs and what he's done for this team.
Yeah, now they just got to pay him. He did one of those things called betting on myself there. He might secure the bag later this offseason there in Vegas or elsewhere, depending on those numbers once the season is over. All right, key players to keep tabs on both sides with the Raiders and Rams. Who are you watching?
Well, for the Raiders, I'm looking at that defensive line, see what they can do in terms of can they continue their progression. Chandler Jones coming off a 3-sack performance. Even Cleveland Ferrell got a sack last week. So this defense has been resurgent. And then offensively for the Rams, if it's going to be, they have to run the football. We just talked about Josh Jacobs and make sure that everybody can throw the ball downfield the rest of the game if Josh Jacobs is playing. So that defensive line and Josh Jacobs, if you're the Las Vegas Raiders. And if you're the Rams, can they run the football and can they stop the run? That's going to be key for them tonight.
Is one player you didn't mention that we might get a chance to see, Baker Mayfield, because the Rams might not be wasting any time. He could start as early as tonight, Ryan. Good idea here when you think about it, considering he was claimed Tuesday, practiced yesterday, and then you got a game tonight.
We're going to say yes because they might actually not have a choice. They might not have another body on that roster. And I'll tell you something, Brandon, something about the way Sean McVay was talking about Baker Mayfield. We flew together to the combine from LAX back when he was a rookie. He's just talking about him a little too much for me to think he's not going to play. What a feat if Baker Mayfield could do it. What could he lose? I mean, the Rams have really struggled at that quarterback position and have multiple injuries. Something tells me we see him tonight. And it wouldn't be fun even if it was just in the fourth quarter. But no matter what, you've heard the Rams coach Sean McVay say, we are going to compete to the best of our ability. So I'm not sure who will be quarterback, but it's going to be key for the Raiders to get after whoever's there to really shut this down.
They've been shuffling it when it comes to QBs. And look, Baker didn't really just blow it up there. Well, he did blow it up in the Panthers because he's no longer there with Carolina. You see the numbers, bottom of the league and 1-5 as a starter. It would be nice to see what happens if he is starting there or the Rams out in LA there when it comes to them against the Raiders. Give me your expert pick when you got these two teams that maybe on the verge of not making the postseason. The Raiders have the better chance here. We just talked about the problems of the Rams, but who you got tonight?
Give me the Raiders, 27-10. I think it will be lopsided. I also think Josh McDaniels is playing a little bit of games by listing Josh Jacobs as questionable. Remember, Tom Brady was listed as questionable for like 12 years because of his shoulder that he won multiple Super Bowls with. I think it's going to be tough for the Rams. It's just going to be a continuation of bad things happening to a team that has few draft picks and aging stars.
All right, before I let you go, what was that nursery rhyme you started with at the top of the segment? You remember what you just said?
Yeah, to grandmother's house we go. Yeah. Over the mountain and through the woods. I believe that's it, yes.
That's what happens when you have kids. I was like, wait a minute, I remember hearing that before. Okay.
It just comes out, man.
There you
go. It just comes out. I know the whole Paw Patrol theme song. I could tell you which Power Ranger has the best powers. Don't go there with me, bro. I'm a champ there too, brother.
Paw Patrol, yeah. I've heard that too, my little cousins as well. As always, Ryan Harris taking us off and getting us back on the track there. Hey, don't forget with the First Pick podcast, Ryan Wilson and Rick Spielman breaking it down. You see the jersey there. They're always talking about the guys playing on Saturdays that will make it to Sunday, looking at those top prospects in this year's class. Of course, we'll figure that out after the season and once we get to the draft. But they're getting a head start per usual. Download and give them a listen.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.